Hello, we're back. We're going to be looking here at lesson 126, particularly the chart in the middle of the lesson there, numbers 2, 3, and 4, talking about radius, diameter, circumference, and area of a circle. Been covering these for a while, but I'm still seeing some fairly common mistakes being made on these, not following the formulas, using the wrong formula, careless mistakes, things like that we're going to kind of address here in this lesson. Now, this lesson was due yesterday, but go get the lesson right now. In other words, I grade these based on did you do the lesson? And so if you leave things blank, then I take off some. But if you're doing the lesson to the best of your ability at the time, maybe you're using the wrong formula, that kind of thing, I don't take off for that. We're going to correct that. All right. So go get the lesson and let's take a look at those problems right now. All right. Just to review, because you're going to need these for next week's test. Test coming up next week. Last test of the year for math. You're going to need to know these. So let's take a look here. We're looking at number 2 on page 381, lesson 126. So number 2, they give you the diameter of 25. They want to know what the radius is, the circumference, and the area. So if the diameter is 25, all right, diameter equals 25. Whether it's inches or meters, they say it's meters, okay? So 25 meters. They want to know what the radius is. Well, the radius is the diameter divided by 2. So you can do that. Now you got a little bit of glare on the screen there, but maybe it's hard to see that 25. But D equals 25 meters. Radius is half of that. Half of 25, if you divide that out, 25 divided by 2, you end up with 12.5. You have the two numbers you need right there right now that you need to have to figure the circumference and the area. The circumference is normally based on the diameter. The area is based on the radius squared. So you need to have the radius. So let's take a look and see how we do these. So radius, diameter, you know the radius now is 12.5. We want to find the circumference. What's the formula? All right. So let's take a look here. Let's write the circumference. C equals pi d. Pi times diameter. Area equals pi times the radius squared. Squared, not times 2, but squared. Some of you are also saying that the area equals pi r. Pi times the radius. You're going to get the area wrong every time if that's the formula you use. It's pi times the radius squared. We'll go over that more specifically in just a minute. All right, so first you want to find the circumference. All right, the formula, C equals pi d. All right, so C equals pi times the diameter. C equals 3.14 times, what's the diameter? 25. You multiply that out, and on your homework on tests from now on, if you want to use a calculator, go ahead. Or do it longhand, check it with a calculator. Whatever. I don't want your mistakes to be because you multiplied wrong. I want to know that you know how to set up the problem and do the problem. That's the main thing for me right now. Right? So I don't want you to miss it because you multiplied wrong or you added wrong or whatever it happens to be. If you need to use a calculator to solve it, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. Show what you did to get it. All right? Because then if you have the wrong answer, I will know. Oh, they used the wrong formula. They didn't square it. I will know, not just an answer. Right? Because I will know why you made sometimes I can tell, but I will know for sure why you made your mistake. All right? So, C equals 3.14 times 25, and in this case, that's 78.5. Sometimes I'll have you round it off to the nearest whatever, okay, as you see there. You can round off. You can round off to hundreds. Look at the thousands place, round off to hundreds. You can do that. So, 78.5 meters. Right? Now, area. Area equals pi times the radius squared. All right? pi times the radius squared. Let's take a look at that. All right. So A equals 3.14 times the radius squared. What is the radius? 12.5. So that means 12.5 times 12.5. Right. So if you put it in a calculator, it's just 3.14 times 12.5 times 12.5. Sometimes there's a button on the calculator that will square things for you. If you see that on your calculator, that's fine. All right. So, but 3.14 times 12.5 times 12.5, and that's going to give you 490.63. I think it's 0.625, which rounds off to 0.63. All right. That's how you do that. Radius squared, not the radius times 2. What is the radius times 2? Radius times 2 is the diameter. So if you're taking pi d for the area, you're going to get the same answer for the circumference and the area. If you see that, if you get your area and you say, oh, I got the same answer for area that I got for circumference. Oh, I didn't square the radius. I took it times 2. That's your mistake. That's a red flag. If your area is the same as your circumference, you're multiplying the radius times 2 instead of squaring the radius. Okay. Red flag. I've seen that as I'm looking at the homework. A lot of those kind of issues. You're taking just pi times the radius, or you're taking pi times the radius times 2. No, pi times the radius squared. It's always the same formula. Also, on your tests coming up and on your homeworks and so on, have a cheat sheet right next to you where you have the formulas written out, the correct formulas. Make sure they're right. Okay? So, have your area of a square, perimeter of a square, area of a rectangle, perimeter of a rectangle, area of a parallelogram, perimeter of a parallelogram. Remember, they're parallelogram, area and perimeter. You got the height there for the area. You don't use the height when you're figuring the perimeter for a parallelogram. You got to have those formulas there right in front of you accurately, all right? And with the perimeter, if all else fails, add all the sides, and we're dealing with triangles, 3 sides, or quadrilaterals, 4 sides. Add all the sides together. If you don't remember the formula, just add the sides together. But have those formulas written out. Circumference of a circle, area of a circle, have them written out right there in front of you so that you can, I got to find the circumference of a circle. Okay, here it is, pi times diameter. Okay, do it. Right? Use it. You can have a cheat sheet with the formulas right there. They may even ask you, what are these formulas? And you can just write them in. Right? That's fine. I don't care. Right? Do it. There's no excuse, is what I'm saying. You got it? No excuse. By the way, if you're not watching the videos, if you're not watching the Rebecca videos, and you're calling me and you say, Mr. Adams, I need help with my math. That's like saying, Mr. Adams, I'm going to sleep in class today. Or I'm just not going to come to class today. Or if I come, I'm going to sleep. But would you help me after school? That makes sense, does it? No, I'm not going to do that. Now, I've been helping you, even though I know some of you have not been watching the videos. But that could stop real quick. If I see that you're not watching the videos, and I can tell. I can get in there, I can see, I know when you've watched them, when you watch them all the way through, when you only watch part of it, when you watch all of it, when you haven't watched it at all. I can tell, right? So, watch the videos. Watch them, learn it. You can rewind, you can say, I don't understand that. Rewind it. You have to take some responsibility, right, to understand it. You've got to do that. Right? Watch my videos, rewind them, see it again. Okay, you may not want to watch me any longer than you have to, but it's there. You can watch it, you can rewind it. That's fine. All right, so that's how you do number 2. Look at number 3. Number 3, they give you the diameter. How do you find, they give you the radius this time. They give you the radius is 2.5. What's the diameter? It's twice the radius, so the diameter is 5. So you're going to use 5 as the diameter, multiply it by pi to give you your circumference. You're going to take 2.5 squared times pi to give you the area. Look at number 4. Number 4, they give you the radius is 8.2. How do you find the diameter? Well, the diameter is twice the radius. So you multiply 8.2 times 2, and you get 16.4. That's your diameter. Now you're going to use that to find your circumference. Pi times diameter gives you your circumference. And you're going to use 8.2 as your radius to find the area. You're going to take the radius, you're going to square it, 8 times 2 times 8 times 2, 8.2 times 8.2, excuse me. You're going to square the radius, and you're going to multiply that by 3.14 or pi, and that's going to give you your area. That's how you do those problems. Right? The rest of those on the lesson should be pretty self-explanatory. You shouldn't have any trouble with those. If you do, you're just not focusing and taking your time and doing it and checking your work. Right? Again, check your work. Difference between an A student and a C student in math, checking your work. You've heard me say that many times. All right. Love you guys. Looking forward to the end of the year. Finish well. Let's finish well. Work hard. Let's do as best you can on this coming test next week. Thank you. Bye.